Hello, it's Stephanie with Coffee Paper Scissors. I have been trying to figure out what to do next. Haven't had any videos really in a little bit because I was out of town. I'm back now and I've been just kind of roaming around the house trying to make decisions, doing a little cleaning and that kind of stuff. So I don't want to pull out my Christmas stuff yet. I'm just not ready for it. And I don't know. I don't think that I want to do like a full journal. And so I'm thinking what I might do is a fall recipe journal. I don't know where I found these. Perhaps at a yard sale. I am pretty sure I found them empty though. I really don't remember. Because I don't have a whole bunch of papers laying around somewhere that I pulled out. I don't know where I got them. But anyway, so I've been sitting here for the last good period of time trying to figure out how to cover them. They're shiny. And I kind of am not sure. I have maybe an idea. This one's shiny on the inside as well. This one is not. It's flat. I think it's because this one was a home decorating one, and so they weren't concerned about it maybe getting wet on the inside. This one was actually a recipe book, I guess. And so it's shiny everywhere. I think what I'm going to do is, even though it's, gonna be a recipe book, I'm thinking I'm going to cover it with fabric. And so I've been going through my fabrics to see what I have. I don't have a ton of options, but I don't want to go buy anything because then I'm just going to have more stuff. I want to use what I have. And so I'm thinking if I do something, I'm just going to sit and tuck so you can see what I'm thinking. I mean, this isn't exactly fall fabric, but the colors are good, I think. And then I was thinking I might do I don't want this to be the whole spine, I don't think, maybe. But I have this fabric. I just have a small piece of it that I was playing with, that I was thinking I could add, a full piece so that some of this brighter color that's in here is sticking out. I would have it all the way. But I'm thinking I would do something like that and have it wrapped around to cover the shine. I have a feeling I'm going to need to take some sandpaper to the shiny paper. And then on the inside, I'm thinking I'm going to do paper, not fabric, but I don't know that for sure yet. And then I have an image that I was looking through my old Etsy purchases of, printables, and I found one, and this isn't it at all, but I found one that I thought I could print and put here that has kind of similar colors, but it would fit. So we would be more like something. But I don't know for sure. This is totally not it. It's more like this shape. So yeah, I'm sitting here trying to figure this out. So I'm gonna go and out to my husband's shop and use some pretty strong sandpaper on this, on the in and outside. I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna take it apart because I don't want fabric or paper. If I, put that here, I don't want it making it so that it doesn't bend properly. Or I could just take it just from here and here so that it's still held together on this side. See, all of these decisions. I'm gonna go sand, and I'm gonna think about it some more, and we'll see what I come up with. If I don't push play now, I'm never gonna do it. Okay, it's the next day, and I took these out and I sanded them really well. Again, this is the one with the flat paper on the inside, so I didn't sand this part. I sanded the outside, and I really roughed them up. As you can see, this part that I didn't cover. Now, this fabric that I'm using is very thin, so after I sanded, I covered it with white paper so that this wouldn't show through my fabric, because I'm pretty sure it would. This is going to be covered up with several layers of fabric, so I'm not concerned about this showing through. Okay, so then what I did was I took my fabric, and you guys know how much I like using heat and bond. So this is the heat and bond that I use. I found that it is cheaper. Well, the last time I purchased it, I found that it is cheaper at Walmart than at the craft stores. So check on that if you're interested. So what I do is, the things that are going to be seen, again, this part in the center is going to be covered by several layers of fabric. So I didn't add tissue paper to my heat and bond. You can see that it's glossy. So probably we'll be able to see through that once I put glue on it. We'll see. But this part over here, I added just some thin tissue paper to give it one more little layer, even though I'm gluing it down where it's covered with white paper. I don't want my fabric glue, the one that I have is Fabri-Tac. I don't want my Fabri-Tac to seep through. It may or may not, I don't know, but it's just one little layer more that I do. So this is the second one. I did the same thing, and so you can kind of see, you know, you can see the decoration on the book underneath this one. So I was just kind of test fitting it with these clips and cutting down. My camera's really off, isn't it? Wow. And I was cutting down the edges and stuff like that. So now what I'm going to do, I figured we could do some of it together, and then I'll do the rest of the gluing on my own, because really it's just gluing. So I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the clips on one side, and I'm going to start with glue here and get it to where it's really adhered, where the bends are and stuff like that. I don't know why I'm being so fastidious about it. I think it would be fine even in any way, like just shove the glue on. I don't know, but especially since there's going to be more layers on it. But I don't know. I don't like it when I add the fabric to the book and it bunches where it hinges. I don't like the way that looks, and so I try really hard to get my fabric to really stick at the hinge area. All right, that's a lot of glue. So I'm just going to lay it down and hope it hits where I want it to. Just fingers crossed. Probably kind of noisy. Now, I want to make sure that and I think it is, my heat and bond is right where I want it to be. Okay, so that's all good. So I'm just going to push down, make sure that glue gets really spread out. I am moving at a snail's pace today. That's probably really loud, and I'm sorry about that. And oh, my hands, they get younger every day. Oh my goodness. Speaking of getting younger every day, I've had a hard time sleeping the past couple nights. It's really frustrating. It's not really something that I've dealt with a lot in the past at this point. I usually, once I fall asleep, I stay asleep. It's fine. But the last couple of days, actually 2 nights out of the last 3, I'm laying there for, after having fallen asleep, I'm laying there for an hour and a half to 2 hours, tossing and turning, refusing to get up because I don't know what I would do with myself if I did get up. It's a little off. Let me see here. Sorry, I know that's really loud. I'm going to scoot this just a little bit if it'll still scoot. I don't want to mess up my adhesion. Adhesion? Yeah, adhesion. All right, that's fine. It's fine. Yeah, I don't want to get out of bed because if I got out of bed, I don't know what I would do with myself. I don't want to watch TV. I don't want to read a book. I don't want to craft. I just want to sleep. So I don't know. And it could be something that I'm eating, because I made brownies and they're really good. And just for the last couple nights, I've been having brownies with ice cream. But it's not right before bed. It's like maybe 2 hours or 3 hours before I go to bed, I'll eat it. So I don't know. Couldn't be my fault. And then, just have a lot of things on your mind when you're, if you have kids and, you're right around my age, your kids are grown up and moved out of the house and you just kind of think, like I don't necessarily worry. I'm really trying hard not to be a worrier because we're not supposed to. So I'm trying hard not to, but I think about it, that's to me different than worrying. And I think, oh, I need to have this conversation with them, or I wonder what this, or, just like Thanksgiving, my daughter, I need to have conversations with her about Thanksgiving and Christmas and if she's going to be coming home. And so then I lay there and I think about it. Yeah, so, and my son too, but my son has gotten to the point that he kind of doesn't answer my phone calls very much anymore or my texts. So I'm like, I guess I'm not going to have a conversation with him. Anyway, I guess that's a good thing. He's got stuff going on. Had a drink of my tea. My son was always kind of to himself and I think lonely a lot of times, but now with his work, he has lots of friends, and so I'm happy for him. He has things he does, and so he doesn't need mama pestering him all the time. And I don't. I'm definitely not one of those. Like, seriously, I might text him once a week, maybe, and I generally just wait for them to call me because I always see things like on TV where people see that their moms are calling and they just ignore the phone. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to give them the opportunity. My poor daughter, she's like, Mom, you never call me. I was like, oh, you want me to? Oh, okay, I will call you. So I called her, not yesterday, but the day before. She didn't answer. And so I waited a few minutes and then I texted her because, of course, when they don't answer, you're like, wait a minute. Why didn't she answer? She's dead somewhere in a ditch on the side of the road. I know it. You know how those things happen. So, anyway, after, her telling me to call and then she doesn't answer, I texted her a little bit later and she said that she was just really tired and she had slept in or something. And then I was like, okay, well, that's fine. And I didn't pester her or anything. Then she called me yesterday, so I guess she wasn't avoiding me. One of the things I'm going to have to be aware of when I go to put a focal point on the front of this journal is making sure I do the right side, because the way the hinge works on these, the front is this side, and I'm so afraid I'm going to do it upside down because this is not directional fabric, so I can't rely on the fabric. I have to rely on myself to think about it, and sometimes I have to say that may not be the best thing to do. You know, this is actually adhering pretty quickly, so I'm just going to see, we're just going to maybe do the whole thing together. Now, I plan on putting, I'm pretty sure, depending on how it looks, I plan on putting corners, book corners on these. So, I could take and cut this and, you know, leave the corner kind of exposed, but this is very, very thin fabric, and so it's not going to add any bulk at all. I'm not concerned about it in the least. And my cuts on my fabric, you know, they're fraying and stuff like that, it's fine. I'm going to be covering, I think, all of the fabric edge. Uses quite a bit of glue. Well, I'm a little heavy-handed too, but I don't want it to come apart. So yeah, this morning I got up and I had my coffee, and I've been trying to exercise this week because that's what I need to do. It's what I need to do. And so I did yesterday, and then I did this morning. All of the sudden, you guys, it's 1, and I finally just finished, you know, showering, getting myself dressed. I didn't even do my hair. I dried it. No makeup. I'm a kind of person that doesn't go out in public without makeup because nobody wants that. Just trust me on that. So yeah, I'm sitting here with dry hair, but I did nothing with it and no makeup on, hoping that nothing requires me leaving the house today, but we'll see. My husband always says, well, do you want to go anywhere and do anything? Because he works from home. I just poured tea on myself. There's no sugar or creamer in it, so that's okay. It's not sticky. Glad it landed on me and not my project. Anyway, yeah, he's always like, do you want to go do something? I'm like, no, please, no, I don't want to, not at all. I used to like to go and like shop and stuff like that, but I've got a house full of junk that I need to get rid of, so I kind of go through things slowly. Right now I'm working on going and taking apart some of the Lego sets that my kids have left here. You know, in like Christmas time, we would buy, you know, here's one for you, here's one for you, and here's one for the family. So they would have them set up around I have a downstairs living space, and, you know, they're both gone, and so it's just clutter. So I'm working on taking those apart right now and putting them away. And, you know, they'll want them at some point, I imagine. So I'm not sure how they're going to figure out whose is whose. I'm going to let them worry about it. Of the ones that were the family ones, you know. So I'm working on that. It kind of hurts your fingers to take those Legos apart, I tell ya. Yeah, sticky. I'm rubbing it. When my hands disappear, it's because I'm holding my fingers over my trash can and rubbing that glue off. So that, see how it's bubbling up a little bit there on the edge? This part, see that? That's what I don't want. So I need to let it sit and dry, you know, with it like this so it sticks really good. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and finish gluing these corners down, and then hopefully we'll make something to cover the spine. Would you believe we're on day 3 of this ordeal? Oh my goodness. Okay, so I changed my mind on the fabrics that I wanted to use. I have a layer of this green fabric, and then a layer of this plaid fabric. And then I thought it's gonna be a cookbook, so it needs some rickrack. So I glued some rickrack down. This is attached with the heat and bond again, so I just did that. Okay, so we're gonna work on this one together. I've already put glue on the spine, and I've been messing with it, trying to get it to lay down real good. And so I thought we would just kind of do the rest of the gluing together, because really all I did was glue and position it, and then glue and position it. One of the things about fabric that has straight lines, it's hard to get straight lines on your project, you know, just it's just how it goes. All right, so I am just using the Fabri-Tac, and I'm gonna go in here and make sure I got it right up against the edge. And I really probably use more glue than I need to, but better safe than sorry, I think. Okay, and then I don't want it to do a whole lot of seeping because it's just the green fabric right here. There's nothing protecting it from the seepage. And so I think what I want to do is just kind of put glue where the rickrack is. And hopefully that'll, you might see a little seepage around the rickrack, but hopefully not too much. A little bit. Okay. And I really just, I'm going to have to let this sit and dry for quite some time before opening it and working on the inside. I really don't want this to go to a 4th day. It's kind of silly. It's a little much, but I have to admit, I've been a little lazy about it. I've been working real slow, let's say. Okay, let's get this in here. Okay, well, I have a little funny story. You know, in the last little bit of the video, I was telling you about, you know, trying not to worry about my daughter. My hair is touching my nose, it's tickling. So I was saying, you know, something about calling her. It was a whole day ago, so I'm kind of hard to remember exactly what I said. But I did say something about, you know, not supposed to worry, so try not to worry, that kind of a thing. So last night, I noticed that her phone battery was next to dead. I mean, which isn't totally unusual for her, but all of a sudden it was at 2%. And I thought, well, that's ridiculous. Did she go to work and she forgot her phone at home? You know, I don't know. And then I got to thinking, she had told me that while she was asleep the other night, the fire alarm went off in her apartment. And so, and I told her, oh, you know, well, what did you do? And she said, oh, there's a button on it and blah, blah, blah. And I said, so there was just nothing? She goes, yeah, I don't know why it went off. It wasn't low battery or anything. So I forgot about it until last night when her battery's dead. And all of a sudden I start thinking, wait a minute, that wasn't a fire detector or smoke detector. It was a CO2 or CO2. Is that what it's called? Carbon monoxide to detect her. And I started going, oh no, that's why she's not charging her phone. And oh no. And well, what if she's passed out and she's never going to wake up? And what do I do? And I didn't know who to call. I had called her twice and texted her, and nothing. And then, so I decided, well, I'll call her boyfriend, I'll text her boyfriend, same, no response. And I'm like, oh no, he's over at her house and they're both dead. My brain is starting to freak out. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. And so I'm like, I am not going to just sit here. Okay, again, so I'm not the worrying type, but I'm also not going to just sit around and think about it. Okay, so I have to just let that dry now. But while that's drying, I figured we can put this on. So it's chipboard, and then this is an image that I found a long time ago. I probably bought this kit maybe 2 years ago on Etsy, so I don't remember the name of it. Funny though, Yakima Valley, Washington, I grew up in the Yakima Valley. So this is, you know, Apple Country Orchards, I imagine was the name of a family orchard at the time. It's pretty sure it's not there anymore. I meant to look it up. So anyway, I go last night. I'm like, I'm not going to just sit here and wonder what's going on. I'm calling 911. I am having someone check on my daughter. So at first, I tried to call the local where she is, the fire department. Well, they don't answer the phone. They have business hours, you know. And I was like, well, do I call like the police station? What do I do? So finally, I was just like, I'm calling 911. And so I called, and they're like, well, what's the address of your emergency? I'm like, okay, I'm fine. I have no emergency at my house, but I'm concerned about my daughter. And I told them where she was. And so they gave me a phone number to call that's not 911, but like it's the actual phone number to 911 for that county. So during this time, this is glossy accents that I'm putting on the edge because there's metal there. I put little book ends, book things, whatever those things are called. Not book ends, book corners on the corners. So as I'm talking to the guy, I keep looking. The reason why I know that her phone was low is because of Life 360. You know, it gives you kind of like updates saying, hey, your kid's phone is almost dead. Tell him to charge it. Well, I kept looking and looking and looking. And the amount of time that has passed is maybe 20 minutes at this point of me going, what should I do? What should I do? Right before I called 911 for her county, I noticed her phone start charging. And I'm like, so I called her. And she answered. She's like, sorry, Mom. Because at this point, she saw missed calls and texts. And I'm like, is your boyfriend with you? You know, I didn't want to say his name to you guys, but I'm like, is he there? And she goes, yeah. And I go, I called and texted him too. And she goes, really? And they look at his phone. His phone is dead. And this is like 9 o'clock at night. It's not even that late. I'm like, you guys. I said, well, you almost had 911 called on you. Oh my goodness. And I said, you see, this is what a mom's brain does. Now, maybe not every mom's brain, but this mom's brain. Oh my goodness, you can't imagine the relief I had though when she answered the phone. So silly. And, you know, I'm thinking the whole time, my husband goes to bed really early. So, you know, he's not thinking a thing about it. You know, he knew her battery was low when he went to bed because he heard the notification on my phone. He never thought anything about it, you know. And here's me thinking every possible scenario. Okay, I'm poking this on here. And again, using the glossy accents on it. This is really pretty thick. So those really don't need to be squished much. And I also don't want to unbend my spine because I want my glue to dry. Okay. Anyway, so silly. You guys probably think I'm crazy. Only just a little. Only just a little. That glossy accent squirted out there just a tiny bit. Okay, we'll do the back side. So I found these particular corners on Amazon. I looked and looked. You have to be really careful because I was looking for a bigger size because when I bought them, I can't remember what particular book I was doing at the time or journal, but it needed to have larger corners. So you really have to look when you're shopping on Amazon at the measurements because they have little bitty ones like these. And then these ones, 0.98, I guess, of an inch. They have 3/4 inch ones, you know, that sort of thing. So you really have to pay attention to what you're... Did I do it wrong? No! You guys, I did it wrong! Oh my gosh, that is so exactly what I had intended to be careful about. You guys have no idea. You have no idea how mad I am right now. Well, I have a thought on what I can do because that is now, it has glue on it. Maybe it'll peel off because it's not dry yet. You guys, I think I'm going to get lucky and it's going to peel off. I don't know if you remember me talking about it in the last bit when I was saying I have to make sure I get it on the right side. Okay, I'm going to work on this. So I'm going to turn the camera off. I am determined to get this done today. So, crisis averted, is that how you would say it? I flipped it to this side. It's all good. It's all good. And then the glue, I got it off, you guys. It wasn't dry all the way. So I rubbed and rubbed and rubbed to the point where I don't have fingerprints anymore. And then I also took this eraser thing. I don't know if it's one of the ones that's meant to take off glue or not. But I went over it until I got it almost all. It was kind of balled up a little bit. And then I took this very, very fine sandpaper thing. This is one that my friend has given me several of. I have no idea where she got them. It's like some old scrapbooking company, I think. Anyway, and I just took it and I ran it over it and got the rest of it off. So you can't tell anything happened. I was so relieved. Okay, so that one is just sitting there. The spine is drying. Here's another one. I'm making two. If I didn't say that, I'm making two. I wanted to use up both of these. I have so much stuff laying around in my craft room. I want to use them. So, same basic idea. So now here on the spine, you see I put two little holes because I have these little recipe plates. I just used my computer and printed recipe a whole bunch of times until it was the size it needed to be to fit in this book plate. And this book plate I found at like a yard sale or a thrift store. I'm not sure which one, but I think it was Stampin' Up. I found this and it came with these things in it. It was a very exciting find for me, but if that's something you want to look for, I'm sure it's really old. But anyway, that is where that came from. So that, and then I'm putting it on before I do the cover paper inside here to cover the white. So we are going to get those pushed down. They're not the strongest but I really don't see why they would come out. I'll put some good glue over the top of them to really make them stay. Where'd that go? So for the over the paper, I put glossy accents. Glossy accents is also what I was using to put the book corners on. It dries in the little tips so easily, and I have not been able to find a way to prevent that, but it unclogs pretty easily with the needle. So we'll just put that over the top, and I don't think those will ever come undone. So when I'm unclogging, you know, like taking the glue out, I just kind of try to get the glue out. Well, it's gonna not work this time. It's not gonna cooperate with me. It's gonna stay in the nozzle. Anyway, I'm not gonna mess with it right now on camera. Of course it wouldn't work like it normally does. Why would it? Okay, so I am covering this with regular paper, and shoot, here's one thing I meant to do. I'm not putting any paper in or anything inside the fold, so I figure I'm just going to ink it, and I don't want to get that glossy accents on my dauber. Is that what they're called? Yeah, so today these are going to be done. They're going to be able to sit and dry overnight. The fabric tack on the spine, it just kind of take a minute for that to dry. Let's see, what else do I have? I've got this. I just don't want to get it all smeary in the... That's fine. Good, good, good. Okay. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is use art glitter glue, and then just right at the top, I'll use fabric tack. I think that's what I want to do. So a good amount, I'm really going to use a good amount, because even though I did use sandpaper on it and I scuffed it up really, really good, I want to make sure that I've got plenty of glue to hold it down. And then fabric tack up at the top. Just want to make sure whether or not it's directional. This is directional, so, you know, because I'm so good at that, you know, with my recent what's the front of the book situation, doggone. Okay, good. Hard to get in there, you know, like where it is. I don't know that I can get a bone folder in there very well. So then right here, I'm just going to use a strip. I didn't do any sewing on it, just because I thought it would look funny. I just thought it would look funny if I tried to sew on such a small little strip. I feel like this video is going to be 2 weeks long. And this scoots underneath just slightly. So I just made it so that, you know, it kind of hides some of the white that goes around it. The only part that's not hidden is here and here. But I do think that when I have pages in, it'll cover. That won't be noticeable. Okay. And then this, I scooched my stitching over just a little bit because it needs to go under just a little. And I'm going to do Eric glitter glue there on the edge. Should be plenty. It's going to be a real relief to have these finally put together. I mean, my goodness, why do they take so long? Okay. And then when I'm done here, I'll go back and push down on everything. I'm just hurrying, trying to get done with this, but I'll make sure everything's really sticking down well. And then in the corner, I'm actually thinking, like here and here, that I might use a little bit of hot glue to hold that corner down, instead of having to hold it forever. Let's see, I want to line it up really well. So, I don't know if you've ever done this, but if you put hot glue down over the top of Fabri-Tac, it makes it bubble. There, that just like, now I don't have to mess with it. It is stuck. Okay, good, good, good. Last little bit. So I need okay, the rest is going on to fabric, so we'll use Fabri-Tac, put the lid on. Sorry if you're out of camera a little bit. So we've gotten cold around here lately. We just had the sprinklers blown out. If you are somebody who lives where you have in-ground sprinklers, you know, well, and it gets cold in the winter, you know that those need to get blown out, or they freeze and burst, and then you have a big project that you have to do in the spring when you want your sprinklers to come on again. Anyway, we had the sprinklers blown out yesterday, and it was, this morning it was like 34, but yesterday morning it was 32 degrees when I got up in the morning. So it's getting cold quick around here. Every year's a little different though. I remember when we first moved here, our very first Halloween here, which was about 16 years ago, I think now. I feel like it's longer because my kids are so old. Not that they're old. I mean, they're just not kids anymore. Anyway, I remember going trick-or-treating with them without a jacket on. And this year, if I were trick-or-treating, which I am not, I would need a jacket. So I'm kind of curious, you know, I don't know that we'll get any trick-or-treaters this year because I have a feeling it's going to be too cold. We have other little things that go on in town here. At, like one of the churches has an event and the school has an event. I don't think it's on Halloween night. It used to be, but I think they do it before Halloween now. I don't know because my kids aren't there, so I don't know for sure. Anyway, the kids may just do that since it's indoors, so we may not get anything. We'll see. That means I have to eat the candy. The candy that I bought for Halloween, my husband and I have eaten almost all of it. So I bought another bag today. Isn't that really not good? It's really not good. Okay, you guys, this one is ready. So I am going to just sit it on its side and let the fabric, you know, really, really dry. And I cannot believe I'm finally ready to start doing something on the inside. Now I need to do this one, but I'm not going to do that with you. You guys see the process. All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around. We'll see you soon.